trade. So today's topic is how is the FX trade affecting the global trade? Why is this important? The first thing is because of this guy, Mr. Donald Trump. He's been imposing, all these tariffs and changing his mind on a day-to-day basis. If you look at the FX rate on a day-to-day basis, the US dollar and the RMB is fluctuating a lot. Europe is also being affected. Japanese yen has depreciated in the past, past few years as well. So Donald Trump is actually causing a lot of drama in the trading market. Obviously, it's affecting you guys. And obviously, in the Liberation Day, he talked about the tariff on China, Europe, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, all these Southeast Asian countries where the main manufacturing is coming from. And obviously now they talk about the 90 days put on hold. But this 90 days is very important or in the FX market. So I'm going to share a bit more at KVB. How do we help you as a trader to mitigate the foreign exchange? And also, what are the ways that we can improve your cash flow? For example, using supply chain financing, which I'll also talk about later. If we just look at this chart, I saw this chart, I was like, I have to share this to you guys because if you don't do anything, if you're doing business in Japan, you definitely need Japanese yen. And if you're just holding Japanese yen and not doing anything about it for the past 2 years, you will have lost 16% margin easily just by holding it. So Japanese yen right now is at all-time low. And the RMB, the CNY, is also projected to slide even further, according to Bloomberg this year. Potentially against the US dollar could drop as low as 7.5 with USD. So that's problematic for people who are doing business in China. So overview, today's main discussion, just want to keep it simple. I don't want to talk too much. I want to obviously get more engaging with you guys. If you have any questions, you can ask me. So I'll just have a quick introduction about our company, what are solutions that KVB can offer, and what are some of the case studies that we have done in the past. So let's introduce about the company first. So in the past few months, I've been doing a lot of talks in Hong Kong. So if you're in Hong Kong, you're welcome to come visit our office. We invited one of our partner called FunPark. They are a trade finance provider for e-commerce businesses. So if you're doing e-commerce trading like on Amazon, Walmart, these very well-known platforms, they can provide financing based on the transaction volume that you're producing in the e-commerce. And also, we also invited KPMG. They are one of the big fours. And the reason why we invited them to do a talk is because about a lot of traders in China, they want to know about the tax problem. If they do set up an office in Hong Kong, what are the transfer pricing? Or if I do cross-border e-commerce business, what are the tax issues with that? So KVB, it's a company that was founded 25 years ago. It started in 2001. 2001 was a big year for China because China entered the WTO. And so when our founder saw this opportunity, he thought there's going to be a lot of trades between China and the rest of the world. And so he's decided to start the company 25 years ago. And the first office was actually opened in Auckland, New Zealand. So now Auckland is the oldest company. And then Sydney and Melbourne was the second office that was expanded because Australia was also a huge market of China in the early 2000s. And then eventually we came to Hong Kong, and KVB became the first listed foreign exchange company in Hong Kong Exchange. So that was a huge milestone for KVB during that time. And by 2017, before COVID, the company was bought out by CITIC Securities. So the company was delisted. And then now we're just going back to the traditional remittance business doing trading. The approximate transaction volume our customers are doing around 30 billion USD a year. So that's not a small amount. And we have won many different awards over the years. We have good relationship with Australia, government. We also have good relationship with China. So we have won different type of awards like the Hong Kong Australian Business Association, New Zealand China Trade. And we're also a partner of MasterCard, which I will also share how MasterCard comes into the play to help you guys for your business. So we are a foreign exchange company. We are not doing investment. So we are not holding investment license. We're holding a foreign exchange remittance license. We help you to do collection, conversion to different currencies, and do payouts. So these are the main three services that we do. In terms of our region coverage, the yellow pin, as you can see in my screen, is where we have physical office, physical presence. Hong Kong is our headquarter, where I'm in now. Singapore is our another important market. New Zealand, Australia is our very old office, obviously 25 years ago. And then Canada is also another office that we have. The other ones are blue pins, as you can see. We can help you to open something called a virtual account for companies. So if you're doing trading in different markets, you might not have bank accounts in the local currency, and you don't have a company there. So it might be not worthwhile for you to have one. So what you do is you can open a virtual account with KVB, and we can help you open different virtual accounts in different countries to collect local currency. For example, in Nigeria, if you're doing business in Nigeria, you're selling products there, and you need to have a bank account to collect Nigerian naira, then we can help you open a virtual account to collect Nigerian naira and then do conversion. If you're doing business in Vietnam or in Thailand, potentially that could be something that we can help. So, so what are the common pain points that people are seeing right now in the market that we're seeing? Mainly these 4 pain points I can share with you today. Number 1, everyone finds it's very difficult to open bank accounts for the company, which is true. And number 2, a lot of local business want to go global, but they have low budget. They don't have all the financial to go global, but they have potential of opportunities. Number 3, as I mentioned, because of Donald Trump, because of the market uncertainty, the currency is fluctuating a lot continuously. So if you don't have a strategy, you might be just trading, you'll be losing on the margin, just in the currency exchange. And then number 4, Henry has mentioned, when you do trading, you always want to have cash flow. You want financing. So how can we solve all these 4 problems? So at KVB, we have solution for you. We have, number 1, I mentioned, we can open a virtual account for all the regions that I mentioned earlier. How quick can we open? In less than 48 hours, if you can provide us the KYC documents and we can give it to the bank, it could be open. We give you account number, your company name, and you can start collecting currency. Number 2, in terms of if you're a local business, you want to go global, you need to have a multi-currency account. If you have a HSBC account, you might have the top 10 currencies, but then you want to do more currencies for paying to different countries. So we have 120 currencies that we can offer to you. Number 3, when Donald Trump is announcing the 90 days holding period, everyone's worried about what's going to happen in these 90 days. What's going to happen to the foreign exchange or interest rate? So what we can do, we can lock the rate now. In 90 days later, you get exactly the same rate. So you don't have to worry that, 90 days, it might drop or it might go up. It doesn't matter because your margin is already locked, the FX rate. And then number 4, financing. We have our own partners that can provide supply chain financing, which I'll talk in more detail later in this presentation. So let's just talk about the virtual accounts first, very quickly. So as I mentioned, in less than 48 hours, me and Dana and our team, if you pass us the onboarding documents, we can open an account for you immediately. For example, you want to open a virtual account in Hong Kong with DBS, and we can do that. So you give me your onboarding company registration, KYC documents, the directors of the company need to do a facial recognition, and we can open a virtual account in Hong Kong. And number 2, this account is under your company name. So when you send an invoice to your customer, it's using your own bank account details, and your customer can pay into your own account. This bank account is not like traditional bank accounts. There's no interest, no investments. It's purely just for collection and foreign exchange and payments. Here's an example of a virtual account, how it will look like. So you have multi-currency in the Hong Kong virtual account. There's Europe, USD, the top 10 currencies mainly. And then the bank would be DBS. You have the bank address, SWIFT code, and you have your own account number that you can give to your customer. This is another virtual account example with Europe. So we are banking with Banking Circle. You can see that all the local currency in Europe other than euros. There's also GBP, British pound, that you can also open. So that's the virtual account facility that we can work together on. Okay, so for the hedging, how does it work actually? It's very simple. I don't know if you guys have heard of something called a forward contract. So in KVB, we can use forward contracts to lock in the rate which is predetermined as of today for the future. So the future, we talk about T plus 3 or more, because T plus 1 or T plus 2 is still within the spot rate. Once it goes beyond 2 days, we call it a forward contract, which is the forward rate. And so we can use this to help you lock in the rate to pay your suppliers in the future. Or if your customers are paying you in the future, you can lock in the rate now, so you don't need to worry about the fluctuation in the foreign exchange rate, and you can receive exactly the margin that you are making. And you can also use this for repaying loan in the future if you do have a loan in different currency, which I'll explain more later about the supply chain financing. So the good thing about locking the rate is it can secure your profit margin, you can forecast your business cash flow, and you can avoid any financial setbacks, like Donald Trump's tweets on a day-to-day basis. Here's a quick example, case study. So a real-life case, one of our clients, they do business in Japan, and they need to pay their suppliers in China. So they borrow in US dollar to pay the Chinese suppliers in USD, but their customers are paying them in Japanese yen 30 days later, not now, which is very common for you guys, right? So if they didn't do any locking, their gross profit is around 50 million Japanese yen. If they lock the rate as of today, 30 days later, they will be making 71 million in gross profit because Japanese yen has depreciated 30 days later. So the difference is 20 million yen just by doing a locking the rate instead of not locking. It's that simple. So the last thing I want to share with you today is the supply chain financing. If you guys have any question, we'll leave till the end, okay? So for supply chain financing, there's two types of financing I want to share with you today. One is called the inventory financing. So here's a very simple example. You have a product in the warehouse that is going to ship to your customer. But the problem is your customer is not going to pay you right now. They pay you maybe 30 days or they're going to delay for 180 days. So your product is just sitting there in a warehouse. Like for example, this 90 days tariff with Donald Trump. People are very scared. Should I sell to US or not? Should I just leave them all in my warehouse? But they're holding my cash. I can't get my money out. So what do I do? So at KVB, we can have a tripartite agreement where we open a virtual account for you first, and we'll introduce you to one of our lenders, which can lend you up to, next slide, up to 85% value of your inventory. So based on your inventory value from our lender, they will do the quality check, underwriting. They can lend and loosen your cash flow for up to 85%. And how do we repay the loan? It's very simple. You give our KVB's virtual account to your buyer. Your buyer will transfer the money to the virtual account, and the virtual account will automatically transfer the money and repay the lender. So the flow is very smooth. From the lender perspective, we are basically acting like a bank, KVB. That's the first type of financing. The second type of financing is called purchase order financing, which you guys have probably heard of it. So you're buying a good, but you don't have the money to pay the supplier right now, but you have a buyer who's going to pay you in the future. So here's an example. So a merchant wants to pay the supplier in China, and then we introduce you to the lender. The lender will sign an agreement with you. They agreed on the value, and then they'll pay to your supplier directly in USD or CNY, for example, to China. And then the Chinese supplier will deliver the goods to the port, and then they will ship the goods to the end buyer. And then finally, your end customer will repay back into KVB's virtual account, and it will complete the whole supply chain financing process. So this is how the purchase order financing works. So basically, the case study that I can share with you is the Japanese e-commerce trader. So they are a Japanese brand, and they sell cosmetics to China. And so they manufacture in Japan. So they want to get the supply chain financing because they already got the buyers in China, but they don't have the finance to pay the supplier. So I told them, these are the 5 steps you have to do. First step, you open an account with KVB. In 48 hours, we open an account in Hong Kong or whichever currency it is. Number 2, we help you apply for a loan through a pre-assessment process. And then number 3, the bank account is open. We're ready to receive money. And then we might talk about, currency hedging strategy. You're paying in Japanese yen, but you're collecting in CNY in China. So there's FX rate. And then the loan will be approved around 5 days to 7 days. The loan could be approved. very fast. So the whole process is very seamless. The end customers are actually on an e-commerce platform. So their buyers are actually Walmart. So Walmart is buying them the cosmetic brands, and then so we use the whole process to provide the funding, and then the multi-currency virtual account, which we open for the merchant, will be put into the Walmart platform. So the Walmart will be playing into the virtual account to repay the whole loan. So in summary, I talked about the main difficulties that people are facing in the trading business. Number one, difficult to open bank account. Number two, local business want to expand globally, but they have low budget. Number three, there's huge market uncertainty because of Donald Trump tweets and all this happening in the world. The foreign exchange is fluctuating a lot. And number four, there's need for cash flow in the supply chain. So our solution at KVB, we can open virtual account anytime, anywhere. As long as you're not in a US sanctioned country, then we can do it. Number two, we can help you do collection and payment instantly, very quick. Number three, we can do the forward contract to hedge the currency risk for you. And finally, supply chain financing solutions. So to register an account is super easy. All you have to do, you can either email me and we can discuss offline, or you can just scan the QR code and there'll be a link. You just have to fill in your email address, and then you can start creating an account. You upload all your business documents, then you can create a virtual account with KVB. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Ryan. That was a very interesting discussion.